thank you. And may you enjoy your day in this magical place called Disneyland.
We're gonna go. Oh, so 10 o'clock. 3 in the morning. Yeah. I'll be around there.
That's nothing too. I haven't been. Like the other day, I went to work. I did a different shift, so I got to work at 7 something in the morning, so it was dark.
Traje mi chupa, dije yo. Ay, no, es mi norte. Pero a ver, vemos una foto.
Disneyland will present a Christmas Fantasy Parade. We invite you to share the joy of this holiday celebration as we present a Christmas Fantasy Parade in just 10 minutes. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us on the Disneyland Railroad. For a safe ride.
Folks, if you get your cameras ready, you might get a good shot of one of your favorite characters at the parade. They will be showing up just behind us.
Mason, you're welcome to get tonight if you want to. I don't feel like going back.
I got trash to put over there.
for joining us on the Disneyland Railroad. For a safe ride, remember to stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please watch your kids.
¿Qué tal, amigos? Y bienvenidos.
Please remain seated. The next stop will be Tomorrowland.
Arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please watch your kids.
¿Qué tal, amigos? Y bienvenidos a
Some of the happiest land of them all, Fantasyland. You can see people stepping onto It's a Small World just below us. And, off in the distance, majestic Matterhorn Mountain. We're now steaming forward and imagine. Here you'll find rocket ships and star speeders, submarines and astroblasters, and, if you look overhead, maybe a glimpse of a Mark 7 monorail. This is the latest version of the first daily operating monorail system in the entire Western Hemisphere, gliding above Disneyland since 1959. Below the monorail, and us, are the fun-filled roadways of the Autopia. Drivers of all ages can get behind the wheel of these cars. No experience or license required. If you're into soaring spaceships or doing battle with evil empires and emperors, Tomorrowland is definitely the place for you. Speaking of which, we're pulling into Tomorrowland Station right now. If you're leaving us here, just stay seated until we come to a full stop. Gather your belongings, including lightsabers and astroblasters, and step carefully from the train. Thanks, and have fun in the future. For the rest of you, just sit tight. We'll be on our way again in just a minute.
Alright, folks, we're now approaching Tomorrowland Station. This is your stop for Star Tours, Space Mountain, Autopia. You can catch the monorail. The monorail will take you right to downtown Disney and then back. You can also get pizza park. Please remain seated until the train is come to a full and complete stop. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day. For your safety, please remain seated at all times, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. Please keep all small children seated as well. Our next stop will be Main Street Station.
Journey will take us from the fantastic world of the future to the breathtaking beauty of nature's own design, the Grand Canyon. For your safety, stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. Watch your children and no flash photography.
Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren y cuide a los pequeños. Por favor, no tome fotografías con flash.
Canyon as we know it today. But it wasn't always this way. Now, let's travel back in time, way back in time, to the fantastic past of the primeval world, land of the dinosaurs. Gateway to Disneyland. If you're leaving us here, stay in your seat until we come to a full stop. Remember to gather all your personal belongings and step carefully from the train. I'd especially like to thank those who are on our way in in just a few minutes. This is Main Street Station, Main Street, USA.
Alright folks, we're now approaching Main Street Station. This is your stop in the park exit. You can also catch another parade today. It'll be at 3:30, coming up very soon. Please remain seated until the train has come to a full and complete stop. Thank
Hello everybody, Santa loves you all very much. Only 350 more days to go, children.
Please remain seated, keep your hands, arms, and feet and legs inside the train, and keep little children whose feet sometimes the floor away from these big train openings. Our next scheduled stop will be New Orleans Square Station.
I don't know where I saw that.
Welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad. We're embarking on a grand circle tour of the Magic Kingdom. We'll be stopping at New Orleans Square, Mickey's Toontown, and Tomorrowland. We'll also visit the Grand Canyon and make a trip back in time to the primeval world and the age of the dinosaurs before returning to Main Street Station. As we begin our journey, remember that for a safe trip, you need to stay seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please watch your children.
Bienvenidos a bordo del Disneyland Railroad. Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren y cuide a los pequeños. Gracias.
Our first stop is New Orleans Square Station. But to get there, we need to pass through the wilds of Adventureland. It may seem peaceful through here, but trust me, it's a real jungle out there. Literally. So be on the lookout. You just never know what might be lurking along the rails. Just ahead is New Orleans Square Station. This station also serves Frontierland and Entertainment. If you'll be leaving us here, please remain seated until the train comes to a complete stop. Then watch your step as you're getting off. For those of you continuing on with us, we'll be resuming our trip in just a moment. This is New Orleans
Ladies and
Square
gentlemen,
Station.
boys and girls, please remain seated to the train till signal please stop at Tomorrowland Station. Tomorrowland Station is your gateway to Splash Mountain, the haunted mansion Holiday, Pirates of the Caribbean, the Indiana Jones Adventure, the World News and Temple Dream, the Thundermount Railroad, and much more. Please remain seated to the train till signal please stop at Welcome to the Bayou.
Is where he
Okay, watch. She's gonna fill it with vegetable oil.
Oh, okay. But I don't think we'll be able to see it. Can you stand up and see it?
Yes. Oh, it's pretty full already.
Oh.
You know what? I'll betcha. I should go over to Rain. That right here. And work on the train there. The national park. Put full dairy.
Let's find out something.
For those just joining us, welcome aboard Holiday 4 on the Disneyland Railroad. For your safety, please remain seated. Keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train, and keep little children whose feet don't touch the floor away from these big train openings. We are currently taking on some water for our engines, so if we don't have any steam, we can't go anywhere. So once we get the clearance from the engineers, we'll head over to Mickey's Toontown Depot, your gateway to Fantasyland. Mickey's Toontown Depot.
That's the brake. Oh, he bled it with that.
To those just joining us, welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad. To ensure a safe ride, stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please watch your kids.
Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren. Y cuide a los pequeños. Gracias.
We're now entering Splash Mountain, rumored to be the location of the one and only Laugh-In Place. If you look real hard, you just might find it. It's where the critters are celebrating a zippity-doo-dah day. Speaking of critters, This place we're passing over is home to a whole bunch of them. Here in Critter Country, you can join Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, Brer Rabbit, and Brer Bear on their fun-filled adventures. As we steam past Hungry Bear Restaurant, the last outpost in these parts, we're now joining up with the rivers of America and entering the frontier as it looked more than a century and a half ago. This is my favorite part of the journey. Around every bend, there's natural beauty as far as the eye can see. There is the revered Indian shaman, sharing his stories with those in the great river valley below. People like you have been riding the trail since the 1800s, traveling through nature's wonderland in a matter of days, rather than the months it used to take by mule or stagecoach. Steam power not only fueled these iron horses, but the dreams of a whole new generation as it moved west into this great frontier. Of course, some of those dreams, and the stories that went with them, were pretty darn wild and downright unbelievable, like on Big Thunder Mountain, where I hear that mysterious spirits have grabbed hold of those mining trains and turned them into the wildest ride in the wilderness. Signals our transition from the frontier to another kind of gear, the ones you'll find on Mickey and Minnie Mouse. Our next stop is Toontown Depot, official train station for Mickey's Toontown, the cartoon home where Mickey, Minnie, and all their friends live. Toontown Depot is also the gateway to Fantasyland, where you'll find many of your favorite Disney animated characters and stories. If you're leaving us here, please wait until the train comes to a full stop. Remember your personal belongings, then step carefully from the train.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please remain seated till the train comes to a complete stop at Mickey's Toontown Depot. Mickey's Toontown Depot is your gateway to all of Fantasyland, all of Toontown, it's the small world Holliday, the Matterhorn Lost Place. You can also head over to the Red Rose Tavern and try the great stuff. It's delicious. For the next showing of Mickey and the Magical Maxi at 2:35 today. Please remain seated till the train comes to a complete stop and welcome to Mickey's Toontown Depot. Featured Tomorrowland Station.
Hello everyone! Thanks for joining us on the Disneyland Railroad. For a safe ride, remember to stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please watch your kids.
¿Qué tal amigos y bienvenidos a bordo? Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren. Y cuide a los pequeños. Gracias.
As we leave Toontown Depot, we get a real nice view of the happiest land of them all, Fantasyland. You can see people stepping onto It's a Small World just below us. And, off in the distance, majestic Matterhorn Mountain. We're now steaming forward into the future to a land inspired by visions of tomorrow, both practical and imagined. Here you'll find rocket ships and star speeders, submarines and astroblasters, and, if you look overhead, maybe a glimpse of a Mark 7 monorail. This is the latest version of the first daily operating monorail system in the entire Western Hemisphere, gliding above Disneyland since 1959. Below the monorail, and us, are the fun-filled roadways of the Autopia. Drivers of all ages can get behind the wheel of these cars. No experience or license required. If you're into soaring spaceships or doing battle with evil empires and emperors, Tomorrowland is definitely the place for you. Speaking of which, we're pulling into Tomorrowland Station right now. If you're leaving us here, just stay seated until we come to a full stop. Gather your belongings, including lightsabers and astroblasters, and step carefully from the train. Thanks, and have fun in the future. For the rest of you, just sit tight. We'll be on our way again in just a minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please remain seated to the train comes to complete stop at Tomorrowland Station. Tomorrowland Station is a gateway to Autopia, the monorail, finding a submarine voyage, star speeders, submarine afterblasters, Space Mountain, and much, much more. Please remain seated to the train comes to complete stop. Welcome to the future, Tomorrowland Station. Main Street Station, but we'll take a detour to the Grand Canyon in the primeval world. Once we're on the tunnel ahead, please do not flash photography or video lighting at any time. Take as many pictures as you like, but please turn off the flash. Now sit back and relax. The next stop will be Main Street, USA.
Can you see okay? Can you see?
To those who have just come aboard, welcome. The next leg of our journey will take us from the fantastic world of the future to the breathtaking beauty of nature's own design, the Grand Canyon. For your safety, stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. Watch your children and no flash photography.
Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren. Y cuide a los pequeños. Por favor, no tome fotografías con flash.
Was the Grand Canyon as we know it today. But it wasn't always this way. Now, let's travel back in time, way back in time, to the fantastic past of the primeval world, land of the dinosaurs. We're now returning to our own time and to Main Street Station, gateway to Disneyland. If you're leaving us here, stay in your seat until we come to a full stop. Remember to gather all your personal belongings and step carefully from the train. I'd especially like to thank those of you who've been with me for the Grand Circle tour of Disneyland. We hope you enjoyed your travels with us and that you'll come back to ride with us again real soon. For those of you staying with us, we'll be on our way again in just a few minutes. This is Main Street Station, Main Street, USA.
We ask that you keep it folded until the end of the staircase. And thank you for choosing the Disneyland Railroad. Children, if you sit in on the left or bench, we can't be sitting on the floor. Thank you.
Welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad. We're embarking on a those are stopping at Roland Square, just town, and Tomorrowland. We'll also visit the Grand Canyon and make a trip back in time to the primeval world and the age of the dinosaurs before returning to Main Street Station.